silver. So again, the character is not saying the complete word. He is saying sire, and they are playing with, he's playing with the words. But again, there I had to find the ways, and if what I understood that you just translate into Bangla the entire the entire word. So for Briani, the word is silver, means Rupali in Bangla, means silver, and Sirinivi is lilac. So I said Raktim. So I played with the words, like instead of Raktim, he said Ra. That can means Raktim, that can means Rupali. So that can means lilac, that can mean Rupali, that is silver. So these are the tricky things that I found in translation. Then again, there are expressions like rhythmic expressions like chudoshko, yudishko, dushechka, sipochka. These are the Russian expressions. Then interesting that in this type of expressions, the first word in this combination of words chudoshko, yudoshko, first word has meaning. The second one is like only like rhythmic expression. It has no meaning. So again, there I found a Bengali equivalent of chudoshko, and then I found a rhythmic another rhythmic word in Bengali, which is the which matches with the first word. Like chudoshko, for example, means sweetheart, sorry, miraculous. So I found a Bengali word which matches with the translation of the word miraculous, and then I use that another word in Bangla, which is which is a uh, uh, rhythmic with the find some uh, uh, like a rhythmic equivalent of miraculous in Bangla. So these are the tricks that I found in, and it was very difficult, very challenging for me to uh, produce such translation. Right? Again, uh, let me give some more example. Say, yeah, gibberish, nonsense. So in Schwartz plays, there are expressions like khurda, murda, and there are many. I mean, I don't want to give you examples from Russian, just to give an idea that there are expressions and words which have no meaning, which are meaningless nonsense. Now, it was really challenging for me to translate nonsensical words. Now, nonsensical means you won't find any equivalent in dictionaries. So you had to understand I had to understand the essence of these words, of these meaningless words. Then I tried to understand, tried to explain, tried to convey, tried to translate that essence, not the exact words, because these words are meaningless and you will not find in dictionaries. Then there are interjections in his plays like tu tu, ulu ulu, ahaha, you. These are the expressions that he has used deliberately and systematically, and it adds humor to his plays. But it's very it makes that play very very attractive, very interesting, and the characters are very colorful there in this place. So there what I tried, I did, sometimes I used Bengali interjections in Bengali language, which are common, and well, sometimes I also transliterated the interjections. So these are the challenges I faced. Then another interesting thing is, yes, another interesting thing is the incomplete grammatical expressions and incomplete and incorrect grammatical constructions and expressions. So there again, I had to be very careful. I did not like, it's not like I violated the the essence of the original. But what I did, for example, let me give you an example. uh, in Russian, for example, that negative marker not mm, should be used before before the verb. So for example, I did not eat. But in one of the plays, a character who is a foreigner, the nanny, she cannot speak Russian properly. So in Russian, it should be, say for example, I did not eat. She said, I eat not, I ate not, or I did eat not. So in Bangla, uh, that negative marker we put after verb. What I did, I put it before the verb, like I eat not. In Bengali, it should be I do eat not, but I use it I do not eat. So these are the, or I not eating, instead of I am eating not, I is used I am not eating. Like, so these are the the nuances that that are that caused a lot of difficulties in translation. Then another thing was translating the idiomatic expressions. Now each language has its own idiomatic this thing idiomatic phrases, and you may not always find the equivalent. So that again, I found some ways uh, to solve these issues. Another problem is that the uh, expressions like your majesty, his majesty in Bengali, uh, because in Russian you find the expressions like your majesty, his majesty, your excellency, her highness. But in Bangla, we hardly use such expressions. So what I did, I retained that English expressions like your excellency, her highness, his majesty. So there I uh, translated, in fact, from Russian into English, not into Bangla, to give that note the taste of that the taste that this is not a Bengali play, this is a Russian play. So I deliberately kept the English expressions. So these are the mostly the issues that I had faced while translating Schwartz. And briefly, I would also like to share with you my the challenges that I had faced while translating Ishak Babel, another very prominent Russian writer. I translated Ishak Babel's collection of short stories called Ajeski Raskazi, that is Odessa stories, into Bangla. And again, it was a very challenging thing. Why? Because first of all, let me tell you that Babel was born in Odessa, in today's Ukraine, to Jewish parents. So he was a Jew. In his Odessa stories, he portrayed the lives and struggles of the Jewish people living in Odessa. So what I found was very challenging for me, that the certain expressions like uh, funeral brotherhood. So funeral brotherhood is like that people who support in a community, if someone is uh, has to be like after his death, like his relatives are helpless, so that brotherhood help the people from that community, they help each other. So these are the very typical practices in these societies. But for a Bengali reader, these things are not, I mean, they are not aware of such things. So again, I had to explain these things, what is that. uh, and then there are expressions like I swear on my mother's coffin. So this again, if you translate this into Bangla, again it is cultural differences are there. So a Bengali reader may not understand. Mostly Bengali readers do not understand such things. So I found it very difficult to translate. But very interesting that in translating Babel, I found that he is using color as epithets. For example, I give you the one or two examples, like white as death. You are white as death. Uh, Green as like he is pale as green, something like that. So again, these are the expression. White death, white death, uh, green pale as green, and these are the expressions are, I mean, you can literally translate into Bangla, but it does not sound, because as I said, that the worldviews, the perceptions of Russian speakers and Bengali speakers are so different. So again, when you translate from one culture to another culture, you find it very difficult to uh, to get the correct expressions. As I said, the paradigmatic options are very different. So the paradigmatic options in Russian and paradigmatic options in Bangla are so different. So you find it very difficult to find the apt translation. Uh, Again, like hyperboles, some hyperboles used in Russian does not sound in Bangla. Though I had translated, but sometimes I had to skip those hyperboles because they Bengali readers may not understand what I'm trying to say in the translation. Similarly, like a very interesting simile I found in Babel's work. The sun has been compared there with a guard, with a soldier with a rifle. So sun compared with soldier with a rifle, again in Bengali perception, it does not make sense. So these are the challenges I faced. Again, the mind of a person is compared with the dark skin color of a horse. Mind of a person compared with the dark skin color of a horse, which again, I found, like, though I had translated, but I'm not sure whether a Bengali reader uh, will be able to understand what is that. So these are the challenges a translator has to face. And another is like personification. He is using an expression, brightening eyes of the sunset. Brightening eyes of the sunset is a Bengali reader does not understand how the sunset may have brightening eyes. So these are the in brief, these are the issues that I found in while translating Babel into Bangla. And more, yeah, there are certain other things I think I should mention here, is that uh, biblical references. Biblical references in Babel's work, well, again, for a Bengali reader, like Goliath and David and all these things, average Bengali reader does not understand this. So these were the issues that I had to explain. And another interesting thing is that Semitism, anti-Semitism, because I already mentioned that Babel was a Jew, and he is describing the sufferings and life and struggles of Jewish community in Odessa. So certain expressions, anti-Semitism and all these are coming subtle, in a subtle manner. But again, it was very difficult for me to explain, because for a average Bengali reader, this Jewish struggle and that anti-Semitism and all these issues are unknown. So these are the challenges that I had faced while translating Isak Babel. So the challenges remains in translation. The challenge remains, and as you know, Raman Jakobson points out that on the level of interlingual translation, there is ordinarily no full equivalence between code units, while messages may serve as adequate interpretations of alien code units or messages. Translator has to walk on a tightrope. He has to be very careful, and he is expected not to make the text inscrutable by using phonetic, lexical, morphological, and syntactical means in the manner unknown to the speakers of the target language. And translator cannot freely dilute the meanings and connotations of the words and sentences of the source text. And translation is supposed to be neither too literal, not nor too free. And translation performs a balancing act of maintaining the semantics and connotations of the original. So I would like to conclude with the observation that in a translation of literary texts, the features of the target language should not be violated, but the flavor of the original language should also be felt in translation. So with these words, I conclude. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Let us express a sincere appreciation to Dr. Arune Mukhopadhyay for his enlightening lecture. His expertise in linguistics has provided us with valuable insights, and we are grateful for the depth of knowledge Sir shared on the subject. Thank you, sir, for your engaging presentation.
Distinguished guests, faculty members, and esteemed colleagues, it is with great honor that we welcome an exemplary scholar and educator, Dr. Sonu Seni. Sir is the assistant professor at the Center of Russian Studies within the School of Language, Literature, and Culture Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. A prolific academic, Dr. Seni holds a PhD, MPhil, and MA in Russian studies, with notable achievements such as receiving a university gold medal for his MA. Additionally, he holds degrees in English, Business Administration, and Translation. With over 12 years of teaching experience as an assistant professor, Dr. Seni has made significant contributions to the field, specializing in Russian literature, ICT, in FLT, and innovative teaching methods. His numerous accolades include winning international competitions, receiving fellowships from the Russian government, and being recognized for promoting Russian language and literature in India. Dr. Seni's international collaborations and consultative work further showcase his commitment to fostering cultural and educational exchanges. Notably, Dr. Saini has published extensively with his research spanning topics such as the development of educational mobile apps, teaching methods online with security, and the literary genre of testimonial literature. His publications have been featured in renowned journals, contributing significantly to the field of Russian studies. And today, Sir will be giving us insight on the topic Translation of Indian Literature into Russian, Challenges and Techniques. With that, let us welcome Sir.
Thank you very much, Srishtika Tiwari, for your introduction. Dear colleagues and friends, uh, let me just share the screen so that we can have some examples. And Srishtika, can you please confirm whether the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So, first of all, I would like to thank Professor Kumkum Ray, Dr. Shraddha, and all other team members in the organizing committee for inviting me and having me here. It's great pleasure always to be with the Amity University Lucknow and to share our experiences. Although we are very young, we are very beginners, I can say that to share our experience with, but still we try to just share whatever we have. We have lot of to learn. Taking a leaf from what Professor Bandyopadhyay said, that while translating, one should follow the flavor also. Like there should be a flavor of the language, source language, and then uh, Parallelly, I would like to add that there should be also balance in the or naturality in the target language. Now, I'll just tell you briefly what all we have done. We have translated more than 10 books from Russian to Indian languages, that is Hindi and English. And we have also translated from around 7, 8 books from Indian languages, that is Hindi and English, to Russian. These are the some latest one which were translated and published, um, like Russian, Indian poetry into Russian. Uh, these are also some, and then some. This a book on literature. I'll be talking brief in more detail further, and this Rusi Vyanjan, that is like a book of recipe of Russian dishes from Russian to Hindi. Uh, we started majorly our journey into the ocean of translations with Zoshenka. Zoshenka is the satirical writer, as like we have Parsai, Harishankar Parsai. So he also writes in the same manner. Zoshenka is like, you can say, Russian Parsai, or we can say Parsai is the Russian Zoshenka. So here we have some the titles which we had translated. There were around 92 stories. After that, earlier also we discussed this thing that after that we had a conflict with the publisher who was not, just who was not letting us to publish more books because of some reasons. So we then decided to develop an app on the same. So we had, as we had the copyright of the material of the text, so we developed it into a free Android app, and which is available on Play Store. So one can read, one can listen, or the stories with audiobook as well. So that is just one demo. I don't know whether voice will come. So once you click on play, it reads this story. Then we had this short journey with Chekhov, then Sholokov, and
मैं rejoin किया हट गया बाहर
I think there is somebody's mic is on. Can you please just mute your mic so that there is no distraction? This Parva is the novel, a thick novel by S.L. Bhairappa based on Mahabharata. And this book was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in the SEO meeting in 2019, that we will be translating around 10 books from Indian languages into Russian. So we made a team and then we worked on various 10 books, and the book which we translated with along with the Professor Abhay Maurya was Parva, that is like based on Mahabharata, and it was then released by the Prime Minister and gifted to the presidents of SEO countries. This is one of the latest publications we have, which is like Russian Sahitya, Rusi Sahitya Itihas or Samkalinta. Many people, then ask us like, what is happening? Of course, like we know about the classical literature, we know about the literature which was published in last century, but what is happening today? So there was an exhibition curated by Miss Anna Esparza, whose exhibitions are registered in Guinness World Book Record. And she prepared this exhibition. I'll be telling about, I'll be showing some examples from this book later on. So I'll just giving you a brief that this was translated from Russian into Hindi, and it has insights from the literature from the past and today's literature, like what is happening today in Russia or in Russian literature. Then there was a book in which Professor Bandyopadhyay is also a collaborator. We have let out this book or this dictionary on 21st century's culture. So various new words were explained in like in detail, um, like which were unknown to the global audience. And this was the recipe which was translated from Russian into Hindi. This was the kind of collection of poetry, poems of Vanshi Maheshwari, which was translated from Hindi to Russian. And now giving you some examples, like, why I was saying that there should be also a balance of language into which you are translating, that is target language. Now, if we see, I just, once I was reading this book, it is called Bedni Luigi, written by Dostoevsky, which was translated by Garib Log as Garib Log. This book has been translated thrice. So one, it was first, it was translated somewhere like in 80s, one somewhere like later 80s, and the last one was in 2016. So while I was reading it, sorry, there was some text are in Russian, so I'll just explain what it is. So when I was reading it, I was stuck with some expressions like this book is a novel based on the letters exchanged between a man and a girl who loved each other. So while I was just reading this book, I found it like this expression, Adarniya Varvara Dabrasiye Lava. हाँ माँ, मेरी प्यारी, आज मेरा दिन बहुत खराब निकला. I was shocked and surprised, like why the person would say a lover as माँ. Why the person would be addressing as माँ. अब कोई अपने गर्लफ्रेंड को माँ कह करके बुलाए, तो there was of course certainly a question. Then I took the original text. I found this word was written as matushka. Matachka. So, the word was written Matachka, and there is also a similar word called Matushka, which means Ma. Matushka means Ma, but in Russian, in original, it was written not Matushka, but Matachka. So there is an there is a there is a method called false friend of the translator. So it was something like that. So the translator understood it as like Matushka, and this book, this expression was repeated in the book like 240 times in the book. So everywhere it was written like Ma, which was not going with the context. And I found that okay, that is a mistake. I think the Matachka, that means darling, that means like priya, that means my love. It can be just like as we uh, address to a girlfriend. So this was like one of the mistakes, like which generally a translator can do while translating, and we are not testing it or we're not checking it. So it's the similarly, if we talk about the phrases, if you see in Russian, of course, you may not be able to understand, but I'll just tell you literally, it is like a phrase, "Na niyom litsa ni bola." That means there was like literally it is उसके कंधे पर चेहरा नहीं था, एक भूत की तरह पीला पड़ा हुआ था, उसके होंठ कांप रहे थे, पर खुद मुस्कुरा रहा था, अपनी पत्नी और बच्चों से लिपट गया. So the thing is that the उसके कंधे पर चेहरा नहीं था does not go with the Hindi. Hindi's structure does not allow this kind of literal translation कि उसके कंधे पर चेहरा नहीं था. हम लोग नहीं सोच सकते हैं कि किसके कंधे पर चेहरा नहीं था, उसका क्या मतलब है, कोई मतलब नहीं है. Basically the context was saying उसका चेहरा उतर गया था. उसके होंठ कांप रहे थे, वो खुद मुस्कुरा रहा था और अपनी पत्नी और बच्चों से लिपट गया. So that was the thing. So while translating phrases, that's very, very important that we try to find out which are there in our language or in the target language. If in case it is not there, then we may need to explain the phrase in the footnotes. That we can just say this is a phrase which to which like we could not find the equivalent, and it has the literal meaning kind of this. Now, there is another book I think you must have read, Fathers and Sons, Turgenev has written. So Pita or Putra, this was also translated in previous century, and it was considered as like one of the best translation books. So here also there were various expressions which were not going to the target language. Like the word Kantihin, choti choti aankheं. I could not understand. Maybe I'm not very, I can say that maybe I'm very new to Hindi, yeah, that I could not understand. Then I asked some of the friends, then I some of the colleagues, but they could not get what is this kantihin choti choti aankhein, right? And then when I just consulted dictionary, I found it's like dull eyes. Like in Russian, it was dull eyes, neeras aankhein. Right? Similarly, this kantihin was being repeated in the text. So it's very, very important to convey the meaning which should be understood by most of the readers. Let us see some more examples. I'll just take you to some more examples. Like this is what Zoshenka, which we translated in 2019. In this, we had given a kind of note for our readers, like what kind of issues were there and how we resolved them, and what kind of technique were used. Similarly, I'll just share one expression or one technique. Like in Russian, when when we address someone, let us try with English or Hindi. Like in English, if there is a teacher, we address them as a sir or ma'am. If there is a boss, then you may, of course, say sir or ma'am. If there is somebody like in the offices or government offices, or you just say sahab, G, you add suffix G after the name. But in Russian, literally they, just address with the name and patronymic name. As like in South, we have name and patronymic name. So then generally they will announce or they will call as like name and patronymic name to show the respect, to show the formal relation. So therefore, while translating, like here, for example, अलेक्जेंडर को अगर आदर से बुलाना है और उनके पिता का नाम सिर्गेई है, तो हम उन्हें बुलाएंगे अलेक्जेंडर सिर्गेइविच. So there is a system behind this, making this, this patronymic name. But otherwise, like you will find it on in their official details, like what is the patronymic name. Sometimes you may not find the patronymic name on the card, for example, on visiting card of the person. Then your task may be, if you want to follow the this manner how it is announced or how it is pronounced in Russian, then you may need to find out the patronymic name. Either you can ask directly, either you can ask another one, like what is the patronymic name. So we don't say the surname, we just say patronymic name, Alexander Sergeyevich. Now, while translating into Hindi, if we just translate as like Alexander Sergeyevich as written in the original text, it will not give you that kind of meaning, which I just explained you. That if a person is just calling Alexander, that means that Alexander is the friend, or there is a informal relation between two people. That's why they are calling by with the name. But if a person is calling with the name and patronymic name, that means there is a formal relation. If a person is calling with Alexander and surname, that means the person doesn't know how to call, how do we address in Russian. But all things are acceptable in today's time. But generally, if you just go into Russia or just talk about the Russian language, then this is the rule. So while translating, we cannot just write Alexander Sergeyevich. We need to add some Sahab or G, Babu, or Mia, like whatever, as per the context, we need to add some suffix as we use in our Hindi language. So that is kind of additional or additions which a translator can take the freedom to make it suitable into the target language. Similarly, like when a person is calling someone who are not acquaintance, so then they generally translate a ladki, o admi. They don't say अरे भैया or excuse me. हम लोग यहाँ पर excuse me, भैया, दीदी, uncle, auntie, like we address like this. If you don't know the person, दुकान पर गए, भैया वो ये सामान दे दीजिए. But here Russian would not call like भैया or didi. They will call like mushina, that is or अरे आदमी या ओ आदमी. अब उसको अगर हम literally translate करते हैं like ओ आदमी, it will be a kind of funniest translation. It should not be like ओ आदमी, ए औरत, ए बच्चे. So these are some basic things which language may have. It's not the case of Russian language only. This situation is there in English and Hindi as well. This situation is there in many other languages. Like there are some specificities of a particular language. While you're translating, one has to pay attention to that things also. Like while translating, maybe I'll just share one more, expression from this. You may have known Khrushchev. Like in Hindi, you may have read Khrushchev, but there is no Khrushchev in Russian. The name of the person is Khrushchev. That has happened because the earlier translation was done through English, and in English it was like this. So naturally, a person who is knowing English and who is translating from English to Hindi, that person will of course is transliterate it like Khrush and Chev, and this name become popular as Khrushchev. Khrushchev. But now recently the trend has been seen that to make it similarly as it is there in original language, because once you know the language, then you can use the correct name, and in bracket you can use the name which is already popular, so that there can be a shift of correct pronunciation and correct names. Otherwise, like similarly, like I'll just give you one example. We had a conference on this topic, transliteration and transcription of proper name in foreign languages. So we had this conference 2 years ago, and a very interesting example was given by the professor of Greek. We know about Aristotle. In English, it is Aristotle, and in Hindi, it is Arastu. Now the question comes, like if the name in English it is Aristotle, then why it has become Arastu? But what is the real name of Aristotle? Just think about that. What is the real name of Aristotle? Maybe some of you know the real name of Aristotle is Aristoteles. That is the name of the scholar, Aristoteles. Just imagine a person from India, from Hindi belt, visits Greece and says, excuse me, I want to go to the medium or the museum of Arastu. Somehow he has managed to complete this line, and instead of English name, or he's just using Arastu. Nobody can understand him. They'll say, of course, I don't know. What is this Arastu? What is museum of Arastu? It's not there. So these were the we can say that wrong practices or mistakes we can count today, that which were done earlier based on the translators who has translated it officially, and then it has become popular. But now, in the time of globalization, when you are visiting such countries, when you have the access quickly to find out what is exactly the name, or what is exactly the pronunciation of the name, you have this freedom to know, and you should have the right to know what is the exact name. Is it similarly like if your name is pronounced in a very different way in a particular language, then you would wish to that your name should be pronounced correctly. Mostly, I can say that. Maybe there may be people who may say that that's okay, keep her pen there. So that is one. And now this is the book which we translated from Russian to Hindi again. And the beauty of this book is like this book is based on the exhibition, and it has a lot of pictures and the today's like Roos ke aaj ke lekak, today's writers also whom you should write. As you know, today there are a lot of books, there are a lot of writers, there are a lot of themes, and it's difficult to find out what to read. Like even people who ask like what is happening in Russia today, what they are writing about today, then of course like people may not answer it in a one word or two words. So for them, like people who would like to know, they can just go through this part, the third part, which has selected which has the selected writers and about their works, like what they have done, what they are doing now, what they are writing upon. And they are the most, some of the most popular writers. So in this book, we have kept it in a dual language, like from here to like right and left. And here maybe we can just discuss a kind of example of Chekhov. Now, of course, some people may pronounce him as Chekhov or Chekhov. but the real name is Chekhov, Anton Chekhov, or not Anton, not Anton, but Anton Chekhov. The same language or the spelling we do have in Hindi. Uh, Literally, he says in English, in Russian, Beregiche себе человека. Beregiche means literally means that to take care in oneself, a human being. That is the literal meaning of this phrase. But do we translate like this? Do we translate literally? अगर literally मुझे इसे translate करना हो, तो I'll say अपने अंदर के आदमी को का ख्याल कीजिए, अपने अंदर के आदमी को का ख्याल कीजिए. Now, one cannot say that that अपने अंदर का आदमी को ख्याल कीजिए, अपने अंदर के आदमी का ख्याल रखिए या ख्याल कीजिए, because that will of course will not give any meaning, and that is why the better translation which may suit the Indian reader or Hindi reader, like अपने भीतर के इंसान को बचा कर रखिए. That is the essence of the sentence. Very short sentence. Anton Chekhov has just said a lot of things within this one short sentence. Similarly, in this one, Gorky says, the Vizhizhny Sigda yes mesta podvigam. Literally, it means that in life, always there is a place of a kind of podvig, you can say a kind of promotion, a kind of when you just cross one level. Uh, so we can, if we translate it in like this, that in life there is always a place, sorry, in Hindi, कि जिंदगी में हमेशा एक आगे बढ़ने की जगह होती है. तो आगे बढ़ने की जगह होती है विल नॉट गिव यू दैट पर्टिकुलर मीनिंग. वहां वो मीनिंग उसका जो है ऑफ गोर की, इट इज लाइक छोटी छोटी जीत. जीवन में छोटी 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 से छोटी जीत का भी की भी अपनी जगह होती है, अपना महत्व होता है, अपनी एक बात होती है कि आप छोटी सी कुछ चीज मिलती है तो आप उसमें बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं, और जो वो खुशी होती है वो अपने में बहुत मायने रखती है. So that is what just I wanted to show you here, that we generally do not, or we should never try to translate literally. It should look natural into the target language. So that if I'm reading, like for example, if I don't know the original text, I don't know original language, then I will be depending upon this one. And if I cannot understand this, like जो हमने पहले एग्जांपल एक देखा कि उसके कंधे से चेहरा उतर गया था, तो वो कंधे से चेहरा उतर गया था समझ ही नहीं पाएगा, कोई भी रीडर नहीं समझ पाएगा. तो इट शुड बी, द ट्रांसलेशन शुड बी इन द लैंग्वेज which your reader should understand, and it should be as per the uh, nature of the language. Now, this one, yeah, if you would like to get this book, it's there on Amazon. You can get it, and you will have first like the writers which you already know. They are very popular phrases, and they can be comments which were given by other writers, and it's in dual language. The various kind of research. Today's writer also. This is Yevgeny Vodolaskin, one of the most popular writers in Russia, who has been translated into Hindi and Tamil also, and various other writers from past and today's also. Like you can get them if you would like to read. Like these are the today's writer, who they are, like what they are writing upon, and you can get it. This one is the book recipe, which we translated from Russian into Hindi. The target audience is the restaurant chefs and chefs at home. It can be mom, it can be you, it can be your friends. So that is the target audience, and we have tried to keep it the way it should be there in Hindi, or as it is there in the Hindi language. So in Russian, if we see that in Russian they write write it like as a paragraph. They don't say like these things. These things we had chalked out from the recipe, and they will just write kind of a paragraph. So sometimes it is like difficult to find out the correct format, and sometimes it is good. This is one of the latest one which has been just translated it's a exhibition of Lermontov. We are translating it, and it has that wonderful format in which today's youth understand. So it's kind of a page of like a kind of social networking site, like similarly like you have this Facebook or other social networking sites. Like just imagine like our old writers are chatting with each other, like Rabindranath Tagore and some other writer, for example, Prem Chand, whether they were in different period, but that's okay. But they are just discussing with each other. They are writing messages. They are writing. One has posted the picture, and like as on Instagram, or maybe one is just going to start a kind of live video, and people are watching it. People are commenting on it, like it's kind of WhatsApp messages, but in these WhatsApp messages, one is just sharing their poetry. These like old writer like Lermontov is sharing one of the poetry in Russian and translation. So this has a unique type of format to cater the information. So something like a new way to cater the information. Like here, one has given some kind of comments. Then there can be some good pictures, so one must be sharing, and there are backgrounds with very nice illustrations. So here also we try to save, or we are trying to keep the language as per the readers, natural, as per the Hindi, we say linguistics, as it should be there, as it should be there as per syntaxes. Lexical meanings should be like understood. So there are various other things, like we could have, of course, like we could have spoken like, or we have just discussed various other kind of examples, but that will take a long time. So keep it short. These are just glimpses of our works, and there are many other works to discuss with. And of course, like it's always great to have some practical experience. Currently, I think some of may you be listening, some of may you be just kept your device aside and having just some words. But it's always good to have some glimpses and then get into practice, and then we can have some, just what do you say, abratna as well. That is like some reactions to it. And with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. If you have any question, it'll be great to answer to them. Thank you very much.
Please join me in extending our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Spini sir for his insightful lecture on the compelling topic Translation of Indian Literature into Russian Challenges and Techniques. Sir's expertise and valuable insights have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of the intricate art of literary translation. We appreciate his contribution to fostering cross cultural dialogue and bridging the literary landscapes of India and Russia. Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we welcome Dr. Puneet Mishra, a distinguished professional serving as the Associate Professor and the head of the Department of Computer Science, University of Lucknow. With expertise in software quality, artificial intelligence, software development, software engineering, programming, and various other computer related domains, Dr. Mishra stands out as a seasoned academician. His extensive experience includes professorial roles in various universities, contributing significantly to the academic landscape. Dr. Mishra's commitment to advancing knowledge is evident through his multiple research papers, showcasing his proficiency and dedication in the field of computer science.
Good afternoon, Dr. Puneet. It's so wonderful to
Good
see you
afternoon,
after
ma'am.
so
Good
long.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's so wonderful to see you after so long. Welcome to the platform,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I'm very proud to have you on our platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Uh, uh, Thanks to Professor Kumkum Ray and Dr. Shraddha and all organizing team for giving me a chance to interact with the academicians of literature. Though I am a man of AI and related things, this is my contribution. Uh, how AI can facilitate in the area of literature. So I'll not take much time. I'll start with a quote which says that actions cannot destroy ignorance. For it is not in conflict with ignorance. Knowledge alone destroys ignorance as light destroys dense darkness. So when I usually start my my talks, I share these two screens. And I have a question for all: whether the technology is used for changing us, or this is for change around us. My first question to the audience: the the first gadget when you open up your eyes in the morning, you start with this. I think most of you will say mobile phones. And the last gadget which you put uh, before sleeping, that is again mobile phones. So technology has somehow incorporated our each and every second of life. And we started with the ape, and literally with technology we are moving towards the ape without humanities around us. So when I talk lectures in AI field, it's very simple how to address that. I have to tell about the nitty gritties of AI. But here, uh, the word is very brighter side, since I am fond of literature also. So I'll talk somehow in a literary sense. The two unanswered questions of universe are: how does a human mind works? And can non-humans have mind? So there's a duel always. आज तक कभी भी मनुष्य जितना भी तरक्की कर लिया है, लेकिन अभी भी उसके दिमाग में दो ही सवाल हैं. पहला, ये ह्यूमन माइंड कैसे काम करता है, और इनफैक्ट अगर हम काम करने की बात आए तो आज भी इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स हो रहे हैं. और दूसरा सवाल आता है, कैन नॉन ह्यूमंस हैव माइंड? क्या पेड़ पौधे, जो हमारे आसपास की चीजें हैं, ये क्या माइंड रखते हैं? मेनली अगर हम बात करें तो जब हम बात करते हैं इसकी, तो पहला जो टर्म आता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इंटेलिजेंस. नाउ इंटेलिजेंस, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इंटेलिजेंस, इंटेलिजेंस वी कॉल एज द कैपेसिटी टू लर्न एंड सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स. So there are various definitions, and dictionaries have different meanings about intelligence. And from this intelligence, we came across a new word which is simply called as artificial intelligence. So इंटेलिजेंट स्पीसीज से आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस तक आने के बीच में हमको क्या क्या चीजें करनी पड़ी. सो सवाल आता है कि इंटेलिजेंस में क्या क्या चीजें इन्वॉल्व हैं. सो जो पहली चीज इन्वॉल्व है, एबिलिटी टू इंटरेक्ट विद रियल वर्ल्ड. वी कैन परसीव, अंडरस्टैंड एंड एक्ट. लाइक बचपन में हमें जब चीजें सिखाई जाती हैं, मदर इज अवर फर्स्ट गुरु, और उस समय जो छोटी छोटी चीजें हम सीखते हैं वो छोटे छोटे वर्ड्स से. सो स्पीच रिकॉग्निशन इज देयर, उसको कैसे समझना है, कैसे सिंथेसिस करना है, ये सबसे पहली चीजें होती हैं। इसके अलावा इमेज अंडरस्टैंडिंग, हम तस्वीरें पहचानना सीखते हैं, ठीक है, अलग अलग जानवरों में, अलग अलग इंसानों में विभेद करना सीखते हैं। देन एबिलिटी टू टेक एक्शंस एंड हैव एन इफेक्ट। सो दिस इज ड्यू टू इंटेलिजेंस इन ह्यूमंस। धीरे धीरे हम क्या करते हैं, प्रोग्रेस करते हैं, फिर इस इंटेलिजेंस का यूज हम रीजन करने और प्लान करने के लिए करते हैं, like modeling the external world, given inputs, solving new problems, planning and making decisions, and the ability to deal with unexpected problems, uncertainties. धीरे धीरे हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं जिनको कि हम यहाँ पे बात करते हैं, जैसे मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग करना या किसी भी थ्योरम को प्रूव करना। हमको पहले नहीं आता है, लेकिन धीरे धीरे हम उनको सीखते हैं। फिर लर्निंग एंड adaptation, that is again due to intelligent behavior in humans. हम कंटिन्यूअसली लर्न करते हैं, हमारे इंटरनल मॉडल्स हमेशा अपडेट होते हैं। और एग्जाम्पल तो मैं पहले ही आपको दे चुका हूं कि जैसे कोई भी बच्चा कैटेगराइज करना सीखता है अलग अलग फलों को, फ्रूट्स को या एनिमल्स को। सो हम ह्यूमंस सबसे इंटेलिजेंट स्पीशीज कहलाते हैं। क्यों? हाउ वी आर सेड? सिंस वी शो इंटेलिजेंट बिहेवियर्स। हम लर्न करते हैं एक्सपीरियंस से, अप्लाई करते हैं नॉलेज विच इज एक्वायर्ड फ्रॉम एक्सपीरियंस, वी हैंडल कॉम्प्लेक्स सिचुएशंस, वी सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स when important information is missing, and we determine what is important. We react quickly and correctly to a new situation, understand visual images, process and manipulate symbols, and be creative and imaginative, and we use heuristics. From there a different word coined which we call as artificial intelligence. So since artificial word is involved, so we say, or we can define AI as computers with the ability to mimic or duplicate the functions of human brain. और AI की अगर हम बात करें तो हम मशीन्स जो इंटेलिजेंस शो करती हैं या एग्जिबिट करती हैं, उनको हम AI की श्रेणी में रखते हैं। So there's a fine gap between intelligence and artificial intelligence, since intelligence is natural, but AI is programmed by human beings. Intelligence increases with experience. But when we call AI has nothing to do with our forefathers, but systems do learn from experience and environment. Intelligence is highly refined, and we generate knowledge, and knowledge is good for intelligence. But in computer systems, electrical energy is required. Since intelligence is possessed by humans, and we can say no one is expert here. We can get better solution from another human being. But with AI, expert systems can be made, which have capability of many individual persons' experiences and ideas. Intelligence increases by supervised and unsupervised learning, but AI has capabilities that can be increased by other means apart from supervised and unsupervised teaching learning. So there are n number of definitions. I will not go into details of it. These are just for telling you. I'm focusing on from where AI came into picture. So if I talk about historical evolution, what AI basically is mean at that time. So when we talk about ancient concepts, the concept of AI and automation can be traced back to ancient civilizations such as ancient Greek and China. And in medieval period, there were attempts to create mechanical devices that imitated human functions. Then in 20th century, we made devices which are useful in calculating things. The development of early computers in 20th century, such as Turing machine, laid the theoretical background for AI. And Alan Turing's work, including Turing tests, influenced the philosophical and practical discussions around machine intelligence. And you'll be surprised that this field of AI is not very much old. The term AI was coined in the year 1956. The conference was Dartmouth Conference, and the term intelligence was coined at the Dartmouth Conference, where the pioneers of AI like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Alan Newell, and Herbert A. Simon discussed the possibilities of creating machines that could mimic human behavior. So I'll not go into much deeper AI. So history of AI says around 1943 to 1952, it was the year where AI matured. Then in 1943, the first work, which is now recognized as AI, was done by Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts in 1943. And they proposed a model for artificial neurons. In 1949, Donald Hebb demonstrated an updating rule for modifying the connection strength between different neurons. And when we talk about neuron, it can be thought of a single unit of our brain. And there are millions of neurons. So in the year 1950, the Alan Turing, who was an English mathematician and pioneered machine learning in 1950, he published one paper. The title of the paper was Computing Machinery and Intelligence, in which he proposed a test, and the test can check the machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to human intelligence, and which is termed as Turing test. So what was this Turing test? It was it was given a name. It was called at that time imitation game, and this was suggested by Alan Turing, who is also called as father of AI. So what he did in the test of imitation game, he took a room. Just there's a room in the on the screen you might be seeing there. This is the room in which he he did two sections in the room. The first section was here, where an interrogator was sitting, and here a male and female. So what he did, he asked same questions to the male and female. Obviously, there's a partition between them also, so no one can get answers of each other. So if the same answers he get from A and B, he'll say both male and female have same intelligence. Now what he did, in the second figure, he replaced male or female with a computer, and he asked same questions. If this computer gives the same answers as B, then it can be termed that this machine has intelligence, same intelligence as B. So this was the test. But this is great to know that till date, no machines, though so many intelligent machines we are they are coming nowadays. We are into computers having 12th generation, 13th generation, but they cannot uh, beat this Turing test. So Turing test basically gives the objective notion of intelligence. So no discussion on the true nature of intelligence. So what people said, that it is just to say that the computer is intelligent as human, but this cannot be possible since machine has intelligence of different nature. Whatever we are willing to teach machine, the machine is going to learn that only. So there was a discussion. Then another test came into picture, which was called as Chinese room test. So the Chinese room test was given by John Searle in 1980. And what he did, he tried to show that Turing test is not the final one. Now, what he did, he took a room in which there's an input section and there is an output section. Here, there are rules written in English, but books are there in Chinese language. And this person who is inside the room doesn't know Chinese language. So the person here who is giving input gives a question is Chinese. What the person in the room, what he does, he uh, takes the question and accordingly, with the help of certain rules, he tries to check whether he is getting the answer from here or not. And after getting those answers from here, he is given to this person who is at the output. So the Chinese room argument says that it is possible for a system to simulate intelligence without actually being intelligent. Since the person doesn't know Chinese, but still he is giving answers. The same way our computer works. So the Chinese room argument holds that a computer program cannot give a computer a mind, understanding, or consciousness. So this is a big fight between intelligence and AI. There are a number of branches of AI, but I'll focus my area to some other part. Though there are a number of applications, I think I've given a short time, uh, this is the history of AI. I'm not keeping 1943 to 2015. Nowadays, it is there. I'll focus on this area where AI is used nowadays. So AI has begun to make its marks in various fields, and literature is no exception. And if I tell you that AI is gradually finding its way into the realm of literature, influencing various aspects of creative processes, I'll tell you it with certain examples. The first one is automated creative writing. Now you have tools like OpenAI's GPT, which is called as Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3, which is a powerful language model. And that has been used to generate creative writing. It can produce poetry, it can produce short stories, and even longer narratives that mimic human like language. Authors and developers have utilized this GPT to create content that is often indistinguishable from human writing. But there are certain tools available which can check, which have checks on this also. I'll give you one example. In 2016, a Japanese AI program called AI Hopes co-authored a novel titled The Day a Computer Writes a Novel. Although the novel didn't win any literary award, it did pass the first round of screening for a National Literary Prize in Japan. This demonstrated the potential for AI to contribute to the creative process of writing novel. Then AI can be used for interactive fictions, and it can utilize chatbots also. So AI is being used to create interactive fiction experiences where readers can engage with characters or storylines. Replica, for example, is an AI chatbot which is designed to engage users in conversation. While not specifically literary, such technologies could be integrated into interactive storytelling experiences. Similarly, for poetry and songs, lyrics, AI can be utilized. Google's Magenta project focuses on creating AI generated art and music, including poetry and song lyrics. It explores the intersection of AI and creativity, generating artist content that ranges from poems to musical compositions. Similarly, for character and plot assistance, AI can be utilized. Some writers use AI tools to help them brainstorm ideas for characters and plots. While AI may not independently create entire narratives, it can assist authors by suggesting plot twists, character traits, or dialogue options. Similarly, for translation and language enhancement, AI tools can be used. So AI powered language generation tools like Google Translate contribute to the accessibility of literature by breaking down language barriers. Additionally, AI assists authors in enhancing their language use and writing styles through grammar and language suggestions. Literary analysis and research can also be done with the help of AI. How AI algorithms are there? They can analyze vast amount of literary works to identify patterns, themes, and linguistics. This aids literary researchers in exploring trends and insights that might be challenging for humans to discern in large data sets. Nowadays, AI have recommended systems. They can recommend books. Platforms like Amazon, Goodreads use AI algorithms to recommend books which are based on user preferences and reading history. These systems analyze a vast amount of data to suggest books that align with readers' taste. So AI's role in literature is growing, and it's important to note that creativity, emotional depth, and human touch in storytelling remains essential element that AI still struggles to fully replicate. So AI is often most effective when used as a collaborative tool alongside human creativity. So these are uses of AI in literature. There are certain other applications like AI can be used as autonomous rovers. You might have seen these pictures. It can be used for autonomous planning and scheduling, for telescope scheduling. This is there. Analysis of data. It is there. Nowadays, image guided surgeries can be performed with the help of AI. Medicine can be done. Image analysis and enhancement can be done. AI can be used for transportation purposes, for pedestrian detection. It can be used in games, robotic toys, for cooperative embedded systems. You might have seen this sort of picture where intelligent embedded software and hardware for traffic control, safety, and security can be utilized. This sort of things are there. Then AI for embedded systems can be used. Artificial intelligence for cooperating embedded systems. You are seeing this Wakamaru by Mitsubishi, which is a robot designed to keep people company. So what it can do, it can identify 2 owners and 8 other persons, and it can recognize approximately 10,000 words and speaks spontaneously. Alexa, Siri are the examples. Similarly, this is Paro, the robot Siri, which keeps elderly company like a pet. There's the arcade game, chess. Then this is human computer interaction. This is the start of humanoids. Then for navigation, it can be used. Navigation underwater, in the forest. Navigating vacuum cleaners are there nowadays. It is used to help elderly. So there are many other applications of AI in bioinformatics for gene expressions and data analysis, prediction of protein structures, then text classification, video image classification, music compositions, picture drawing. You'll not find an area where nowadays AI is not used. So I'm winding up here. If you have any queries, you can ask.
Students, if you have any questions, you may please go ahead. Srishtika, Pratyasha.
Thank you, ma'am.
A pleasure to hear you and see you both.
So my work is very different. We are working on cancer segment detection of different areas. Uh, so it's nice to see you after such a long time.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So can I take leave?
Yes, sure, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you so much.
we extend a sincere gratitude to Dr. Puneet Mishra for sharing his profound insights and expertise in today's lecture. Your contribution to the field of computer science are truly commendable, and we appreciate the valuable knowledge you have imparted. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, as our session comes to an end, I would like to request our very own Dr. Ayushi Garg ma'am to propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural ceremony of the 11th International Conference.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Dr. Ayushi Garg, on behalf of Amity School of Languages at Amity University, Lucknow campus, extend a warm welcome to each of you and wish you a delightful evening. It's a matter of immense honor and privilege for me to express my sincerest gratitude to the esteemed delegates who have graced us with their presence today. First, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate our Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray ma'am, Director of Amity School of Languages, for her exceptional efforts in organizing this insightful conference. A heartfelt thank you goes to Wing Commander Dr. Anil Kumar, Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor and Director, Amity School of Engineering and Technology, Amity University, Lucknow campus, for his unwavering support and constant inspiration that have been instrumental in propelling us towards excellence. Special gratitude is extended to our chief guest, Dr. Ashok Sangappa Alur sir, Vice Chancellor of Kodagu University, and our keynote speaker, Mr. Devyaraj Amia from the University of Tübingen. Gratitude is also expressed for the invaluable insights shared by our keynote and theme-based speakers, Professor Namisha Gupta ma'am from Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth, Mr. Rainer Kimish from the University of Tübingen, Professor Anunim Bandyopadhyay from JNU, Dr. Puneet Mishra from Lucknow University, and Dr. Sonu Saini from JNU. Dr. Ashok Sangappa Alur highlighted the impact of studying humanities on the holistic well-being of the individual, leading one towards a more inclusive and liberal approach. He talked about the significance of analyzing the economics of climate change. Mr. Divyaraj Amia brought up the extremely relevant topic of the role of South Asian studies as an inventory of solutions and making the invisible visible in the age of artificial intelligence and ecological collapse, especially focusing on the lives of Adivasis. Professor Nimisha Gupta threw light on the areas of new generation applied and practical humanities, critical humanities, digital humanities, applied linguistics, gender studies, sociology research, crisis management, environmental and ecological economics, as well as ethical and cultural issues. Mr. Rainer Kimish highlighted the key aspects involved in translation studies with a special emphasis on Nirmal Verma's creations from the perspective of a German reader and translator. Professor Arunim Bandyopadhyay talked about the importance of translating plays and specifically talked about the challenges he faced while translating from Russian to Bangla. Dr. Puneet Mishra noted the incredible connection between the human mind and computers to understand language, linguistics, and he also discussed the role of AI in literature. Dr. Sonu Saini mentioned the significance of maintaining a balance between the source language and the target language and described the structure of language at length. A special mention goes to the students who have joined us from the University of Tübingen and the University of Zurich, Germany. I express my deep sense of appreciation for the Pandora team for the successful launch of their magazine during the 11th International Conference of ASN. Pandora Literary Magazine is a commendable initiative aiming at the nurturing of the creative talents of our students, providing a platform for various forms of artistic expression and fostering discussions on emerging trends in humanities. I earnestly thank the heads of various institutes of Amity for gracing this occasion with their august presence. I would like to express my gratitude to ASL's organizing team of faculty, office staff, and students, as well as the media, procurement, and IT and admin teams for supporting us with all the logistic requirements. Your unwavering support played a pivotal role to ensure the smooth execution of the inaugural ceremony. Once again, thank you all for your contributions to the success of this event. Your presence and active participation have truly enriched our academic endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. As we come together on this momentous occasion, may we kindly request your participation for a moment of unity and reverence. Please join us for Vande Mataram.
Thank you. Now, please open your cameras and stay still for a moment as we take a picture for remembrance of this memorable day. Thank you. Dear guests and dignitaries, the information about the paper presentation will be available in the WhatsApp group within its scheduled time. Please join on time for your papers to be presented. Thank you.
I thank personally everyone for organizing this great conference and making me a part of it. So thank you everyone, especially Shraddha and Professor Dr. Kumkumre and other participants also for their presentations and participation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Reena, sir.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
धन्यवाद सर, आपने अपना समय दिया हमें. धन्यवाद सर, आपने अपना कीमती समय हमें दिया.
धन्यवाद, बहुत धन्यवाद.
So can I close the meeting now?
Thank you everyone for joining. Hope to see you all tomorrow.
You all are most welcome to attend my courses, online courses on South Asian Studies. This was also a kind of my marketing campaign. My courses are available also online. So we look forward to your participation also. So thank you. Bye.
कहाँ घर पे अपना लगवाया है, फ्री नहीं है भैया. नहीं, मुझे लगा कैंपस एमिटी. नहीं यार, अर्चना